Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, Joint Boutique Hotel and Cowork, Monson Brewing Company, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, Oculto, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners.
You know, Kathy has a point. You're always first, Mark, she says. And this is true. I don't know how you do it, Mark, but every morning I can count on you being the first to show up for Coffee and Headlines. This is so funny. And here's our good friend Stan. Here you are, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Headlines. This is our morning get together live on YouTube and live on Facebook with one goal: to create and inspire nurturing connections among ourselves and with our city, Puerto Vallarta, our state, Jalisco, our country, Mexico. Whether you are near or far, here is a chance to take a look at what we bring to the table, and for me to take a look at what matters to you through your comments and your suggestions. It is a pleasure to be here on a Wednesday. It is June 11th. It's still not raining, and we'll bitch and moan about that a little bit later on. But first, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy that you're here. And yes, yesterday I was in a funk, but you know, you fall into these holes, these mood holes, I call them. And then you come out of the funk, and that's exactly what happened. And I'm grateful for that. So, today we have very important news to share. Not entirely pleasant, but we have to talk about not this black screen. We have to talk about this. President Claudia Sheinbaum affirmed that U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's accusations that she encouraged violent protests in Los Angeles are false. In a message posted on social media, the head of the executive branch asserted that she has called on migrants to express themselves peacefully. President Sheinbaum refuted Noem's statements, who accused her during a press conference at the White House in the presence of President Donald Trump of inviting immigrants to violence following the raids carried out by U.S. immigration authorities. I give you the president of Mexico's words. Moments ago, in response to a question from a media outlet, the U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security mistakenly mentioned that I encouraged violent protests in Los Angeles. Here is my statement from yesterday, in which I clearly condemned violent demonstrations. We have always been against it, and even more so now, given the high responsibility I hold. Our position is and will continue to be the defense of honest, hardworking Mexicans who support the United States economy and their families in Mexico. I am certain that dialogue and respect are the best path to understanding between, our people and our nations, and that this misunderstanding will be cleared up. And President Sheinbaum is not alone. The National Conference of Governors, or CONAGO, issued a statement expressing its support for President Claudia Sheinbaum, who was accused by Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem of encouraging protests. The letter, expressing its institutional support for Claudia Sheinbaum, states that the president has never called for violent protests. On the contrary, and I quote, she has reiterated on multiple occasions that demonstrations should be peaceful, in compliance with the law, and with mutual respect. And all I have to say about this is how nice to live in a country where our president is supported not only by the people, but also by her government. Now, if any of this moves you, do know that Democrats Abroad has organized a solidarity rally this Saturday at noon at Oscar's on the Isla Rio Cuale, and I'll have all the details about this in the show notes as usual. Now, before you ask, I have no idea why this dude on the photograph is looking so pissed off. I have no idea who he is, but I have a good feeling about this. As a reminder, before I go into this, there have been talks in Congress about reducing the work week from 48 to 40 hours nationwide. The controversial labor reform, which seeks to amend Article 123 of the Mexican Constitution to establish 2 mandatory days of rest for every 5 days of work, in contrast to the current system of 6 working days and only 1 day off, is in a crucial stage of legislative debate. And as the working class of Puerto Vallarta continues to grapple with grueling workdays, precarious wages, and a virtually non-existent profit-sharing culture, the National Chamber of Commerce, Services, and Tourism of Puerto Vallarta, known as CANACO, has raised its voice, joining the national business chorus against a proposal to reduce the work week from 48 to 40 hours. That's a bummer. Although it has already received approval by the Chamber of Deputies back in April of 2023 and has been endorsed by President Sheinbaum, the final implementation of this law is subject to approval by the full legislature and the Senate, with discussion forums scheduled to consolidate a seemingly distant consensus between the owners of capital and those who execute labor. And this is just here as an FYI. Another croc was captured and relocated, this time in Flamingos, north of Puerto Vallarta. The 3-meter specimen was spotted near Highway 200 in front of Mega Flamingos. It was previously tagged with number 72 and was relocated to a safe place. You know how it goes. The rain season begins and the crocs come out to saunter. But where is the rain? We're all sitting around wondering, where is the rain? Bárbara, the first tropical storm to evolve into a hurricane this season, is gone, and there is still no rain in sight. Although the weather forecasts, the local people keep insisting that it's coming. Again, I'll believe it when I feel it. I don't feel wet except under my armpits, and that's disgusting. Let's see what's going on with the weather forecast out there. Today is a perfect day to drown your sorrows with a tub, T-U-B, a tub of ice cream. That sounds absolutely delicious. So here we go. It's 30 degrees out there. Humidity is at 70%. No surprises there. And we can expect today to be a day with overcast skies with rain in the afternoon, although the weather forecast says that we only have an 18% chance of rain. A high of 32 and a low of 26. Tomorrow, Thursday, will be a mostly clear day in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 36%, a high of 31 and a low of 25. And it gets better on Friday, mostly cloudy skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 68%, make my day, a high of 32 and a low of 26. And that is our first half. I'm looking at your comments from afar, and I can't wait to get to them. But first, Mexico begins the countdown today towards the 2026 World Cup, which we will host for the 3rd time, starting on June 11 of next year. In 1 year from today, the Azteca Stadium in Mexico City will host the opening match of the 2026 World Cup, with a match between Mexico and a team that will be decided in the draw next September. making us our country the first to host 3 World Cups, having become a center of pilgrimage for world soccer, and having been the home of the two greatest players of the 20th century, Pelé in 1970 and Diego Maradona in 1986, the Estadio Azteca will host 5 World Cup matches, followed by 4 in Guadalajara and 4 in Monterrey. And this is big news, even if you think, well, that's happening elsewhere. What does this have anything to do with me? Well, things are connected, and I actually am a little excited about this. You would think that all these new highways connecting Puerto Vallarta, all these new junctions like the Las Juntas one, the new airport, parks being remodeled in Guadalajara, you would think that all these infrastructure initiatives are isolated, and they're not. They all have something to do with the high influx of people that we will see not only in Mexico in general, but also in Jalisco in particular, as we will be hosting these games. So I'm excited that the government and the powers that be are actually setting the stage logistically beyond the actual venues where the soccer games are going to be enjoyed. Moving right along, I have to say this is here because it just made me laugh. As a side note, I have to say that Diana of Diana's Boat Tours has been a fixture in Puerto Vallarta since I can remember. She's been in business for over 20 years, and I just loved how she titled her upcoming excursion for July 3rd. July 3rd, Diana Boat Tours, cool the fuck down. I love that. I mean, it is potty language. I don't care, but this is the spirit of a summer soldier. And then the description is beautiful. It reads, ready to save some money, honey? July 3rd is going to be hot, so you're going to want to cool the fuck down with Diana's Boat Tours. And so it continues with the description of everything you get, including a special locals only rate. So power to her. Congratulations, Diana. You've been here in business for such a long time, and I am so happy that you're still here. What a pleasure it would be to sit down with you for a conversation of all these years that you've been around, all the stories you may have to share. I would love that for the spotlight, wouldn't you? If you think Diana would be a good candidate for the spotlight, please just write the word Diana in your comment. She is a great lady, short, feisty, funny, and I'm glad you're still around. I'm glad I'm still around. And of course, as I mentioned yesterday was a funky day for me, but that nothing beats getting out of a funk, that having something to look forward to. And as I mentioned yesterday, I got my next music presentation ready. Not the very next one. The very next one is our presentation on Michel Legrand, but this is the first one in the month of July. It's close enough to my birthday that I figured, screw it. I'm going to do whatever I want. And what is that? Well, I've been accumulating a bunch of videos on truly amazing piano pieces that are being performed today or composed today or improvised today. And this is what this is going to be about. It's called Look Ma, It's a Piano, Modern Masterpieces for the Keyboard Curious. And this will take place on July 10th in air-conditioned comfort at the Joint Boutique Hotel. Of course, before that, a week from tomorrow, we will enjoy Wait, He Wrote That, where we will explore the timeless music of Michel Legrand. If you don't know who he is, then this is a presentation for you. You'll be amazed at how many of his works, his songs, you are familiar with because they have been gloriously translated to the English language. And of course, today is Spotlight Wednesday. It'll be a pleasure to be at the Joint this afternoon to interview a bunch of people. We're going to have a young talent Angelou, the child prodigy of Puerto Vallarta. And we're going to have our friend Stan, who, along with Gloria Fiona, a local entertainer, has partnered in creating a wellness event that we will all want to hear more about. Of course, I will be editing the interviews and make them available to you in the near future. But if you want to come over and hang out, there's coffee, and there's iced coffee, and there's air conditioning at the Joint Boutique Hotel and Co-work. And I am going to take a look now at your comments. Let's see what's going on in your minds. Look at all the people that want to know more about Diana. Diana, I hope wind gets to you that we want to talk to you, because I'm going to send you a little note later on. Maybe we can have a little conversation in the near future. We see good mornings, and I love that. We see people that we know, and I appreciate that. We see people on Facebook and on YouTube, and I love that. Let's see. It's very smoky in Saskatchewan. Forest fire. Sorry to hear that. I hope these things get under control. Thank you for reporting, Chris. Yes, we love Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum. Yes, we certainly do. Well, don't hold back, Muffin. Christy Noam is a menace to society, a puppy killer, and also involved in all kinds of shady business dealings from the time she was governor of South Dakota. Enough said. Lies equal misunderstanding. Well, Harold, I appreciate the pacifist stance of our president. And she's always been that way. You know, she does not get angry. She does not get confrontational. And I believe her. I believe her very much. Let's see. Let's see. There's a queue. I guess they take the crocs upriver. Gosh, they are huge. Yes, they are relocated to rivers where they are usually in their habitat. But again, with the increased river flows, they tend to feel adventurous. And that's when they start going elsewhere. Let's see what else we have. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, make it so, Logan. The rain should arrive tomorrow, and then it looks like we should have precipitation daily, at least through the 24th or 25th. I hope that is the case. Has anyone taken a tour on Diana's boat tours? I actually have not, but I've had many opportunities to have great conversations with her on the go. It's not like we're very close buddies, but I always say hello with a lot of respect, just because of the fact that she's been around for such a long time. And look at all the people that want to meet Diana. I'm going to send her a note and let her know that you are curious to learn more about her. That is awesome. Thank you so very much. And Logan says, Laura, haven't been since the pandemic just because my work responsibilities changed. But before that, I used to be out on Diana's as often as possible. There you have it. And I'm going to close with this one. The president, as in Claudia Sheinbaum, is awesome. She holds her composure and is amazing. Yes, she is. She has detractors, like a lot of people do. We all do. But it is nice, again, to live in a country where she has such a high approval rating, and she has the support of the people and the support of her government. And with that said, it is time to wrap it up. I will be heading to the joint in a couple of hours. Maybe I'll see you there. If not, I'll definitely see you here tomorrow morning for more coffee and more headlines. Have a great Wednesday.